slides into frame very smoothly. What's up, everybody?
It's your boy, Barry.
Hi. Yeah, it's Barrett. The reason I am here holding this microphone is because this is a bit of a, show, segment type of thing that I could probably do, more than once. As you can see from the title of this video, it's called BS with Barrett. Basically meaning I can talk about something without really knowing what I'm talking about, which is the case most of the time. See, I have conversations with people and I ramble myself to meaning. I basically don't know what I'm saying, and through just talking, saying words, not sounding great doing it, I discover to myself what I am actually trying to say. And then hopefully the person that I'm talking to can also maybe at the end of that rambling realize what is even happening. So welcome to BS with Barrett. And the topic for today is The Fabelmans. That's the title of the film that is about Steven Spielberg's childhood. He has a name that is not him, something Fabelman. I'll look up what his name is in the movie just so this is, give a little bit of credibility. Okay, The Fabelmans. What's his name? Gabriel LaBelle. No. Does he not have a... he's Canadian. Oh, that's interesting. Sammy Fabelman. Okay, Sammy Fabelman. Sammy Fabelman is Steven Spielberg. So, The Fabelmans, a movie about Steven Spielberg's childhood. Now, I want to get off the top here saying The Fabelmans, I didn't like it. Overall. However, it's a movie that I continued to think about after it was over. Immediately after the movie was done, the first thing that I said was, that was a f***ing waste of time. But after that, I started thinking about it. And the reason why I said it was such a waste of time was because it's 2.5 hours long, and it's not even about the interesting part about Steven Spielberg's life. Now, I get the concept. It's like period piece, I suppose, in a way. It's like, from the 50s, 60s childhood kind of deal, when most of the movie takes place. And I suppose artistically, that could be interesting. However, since the movie is written by Steven Spielberg and another guy, and done in the typical Steven Spielberg fashion, by that I mean it's very cinematic. It felt like Back to the Future or something. I know Back to the Future isn't Steven Spielberg, but like West Side Story. So Steven Spielberg's character, Sammy Fabelman, he navigates his struggles, his real world struggles, through the comfort that he finds in filmmaking. The thing is that his real world struggles, 2.5 hours of that isn't interesting because the struggles that he actually goes through, they're the same types of struggles that anyone else would go through, to be honest. And so with this very kind of Steven Spielberg Hollywood-esque cinema style of filmmaking in telling that story, well, that's not interesting. With that style of filmmaking, I want to see a dinosaur take apart a school, or the Back to the Future, the DeLorean, the DeLorean go back in time or something, and see the family struggles as background noise to that. But the way that we could have handled this kind of storytelling in this cinematic style is maybe by making the story be about how he became a Hollywood filmmaker, right? How he became great at filmmaking. The problem is with a movie is that he's awesome from the very first time he makes a film. He tries to recreate this movie that he saw in the cinema for the first time. He goes to the cinema with his parents. He sees a movie. He gets freaked out by it because it's like a train crash, and he tries to recreate the train crash. And then we see his like innovative approach from the beginning of the movie, and then that is sort of reiterated through different parts of the movie. He finds like cool ways to do like gunshots to like show in the movie he does like a cool way of like showing gunshots. So anyways, the point is that this isn't like the story of how he became a great filmmaker, right? Like, you know, what's interesting about the Michael Jordan story, for example, is like the guy didn't make his junior high school basketball team and then he becomes the best basketball player in the world. Anyways, all I'm trying to say is it's just not interesting enough for me. Like, if that's going to be the plot of the movie, then I would actually rather another filmmaker make it about Steven Spielberg. You know, like there's these biography movies, right? Like even that would work in the cinema style. Like we're talking about like the Elvis movie biography, right? Like Bohemian Rhapsody, the Elton John one. Those are all music people. But anyways, those movies go to Oscars every time. I think they're all bad, but they're at least more entertaining than this one because the whole plot is Steven Spielberg being awesome and then having very basic problems, but told in a very cinematic style so that when he's getting bullied in high school, the bullies seem like they're Biff, you know, they're Biff's gang from Back to the Future. Or we're watching like West Side Story, that kind of thing. But in both those stories, there's more interesting things happening. The DeLorean. The DeLorean is very interesting. Anyhow, I will tell you though, the 10 minutes of the 2.5 hours that I found really interesting and are why I'm still talking about the movie and are ultimately, in part, why I'm making this video now, are the 10 minutes where the uncle is on screen. The uncle is, there's a scene where he comes and stays with the family, and he's known as this kind of, psycho guy that is, working for the circus or whatever, or he used to work for the circus or something.
You think I wanted to leave my sisters, my mama, and my papa and go stick my stupid head in the mouth of lions?
So the family, is like, oh, stay away from this guy. He's gonna make you go crazy. He's bad news. Blah blah blah. Anyways, he gives a very kind of motivational speech to a young Steven Spielberg. Ironically, it's kind of funny because his character doesn't really need it. Like I said, like he's an awesome filmmaker from the start, and so it's like you have this amazing, monologue with the uncle who actually gets nominated for an Oscar for those 10 minutes on screen. But given the plot of the movie and given his character, he doesn't actually need it. However, I did. The uncle talks about how, art is important. Art is, even scary. And
Art is no game. Art is dangerous as a lion's mouth. It'll bite your head off.
To a creative person, you need art. You need creativity, and you need the act of being creative. You need to be creative just to live, to feel like you're contributing what you're supposed to be contributing to the world, right?
We're junkies, and art is our drug. Family, we love. But art, we're sugar for art.
And I guess through 2.5 hours of watching The Fabelmans, even though I didn't really like a lot of aspects of the movie or identify with Steven Spielberg's character, it was that scene with the uncle that ultimately drove the point home, especially when Sammy Fabelman, Steven Spielberg guy, at the end he's trying to work in Hollywood. He's having a hard time getting a job in Hollywood, and then suddenly he gets a call from, I don't know, NBC Studios or CBS or something like that. He gets to meet the director that he grew up admiring and watching all of his movies, and so then that kind of is fulfilling for him. But that part is only important or interesting because of the uncle. Which, now that I'm talking, I suppose maybe if I feel that way at the end with his character going and seeing that director and that being fulfilling, maybe his character actually did need that, because I'm still thinking that at the end Whereas before I was saying that, the character didn't need it, and he's, an awesome filmmaker from the start, blah, blah, blah. But it kind of jumps from like after high school, like, he makes this like year-end movie, gets everybody's attention, like the bullies are all of a sudden friends with him, or like appreciate, his filmmaking abilities. He's like on top, and then we see, months later or a year later or something, and he's looking for jobs. So I don't know if that's actually, Anyways, guys, I made this video because even though this is me talking to a camera right now and not really knowing what I'm saying, BSing, in fact, I'm BSing. The act of doing this is exercising my creativity. I had an idea when I was away. I was in the Philippines on my honeymoon, and through being away, I found that vacations are good. They cause you to go outside of your usual environment, usual work environment, and actually think original thoughts in your brain. The problem is when I'm here, when I'm at home, when I'm at work, I get so used to staring at a computer screen and consuming media basically every second of the day. That's not good. Considering the fact that I really enjoy consuming content, particularly movies and TV, but movies I'm particularly inspired by. Like, I don't know, I just feel like that format still of like an hour and a half to 2 hours, not 2.5 hours to Fabelman, that's too much. Anyhow, in that type of format, I just feel like you can tell a compelling story and cause people to think differently, but then to go away from that movie and to actually think thoughts in your brain. Whereas if you're watching a TV show, you're like watching for like 40 hours a season or something, and then it's over and you're like, well, what else am I going to watch now? Because you become so involved with the characters in the story that it's just escapism. The point is, I thought I could, nonsensically talk about the movies that inspire me. And in this case, it's the Fabelmans, as much as I want to deny it and say it's dumb. Because ultimately, it caused me to make this video. So thank you, Sammy Fabelman, but fuck you, Steven Spielberg. Just kidding. Seriously, Steven Spielberg, I know you're going to watch this or you're going to be upset when you hear me say that, but I didn't mean it, I promise. Anyhow, guys, that's it for BS with Barrett. I don't think, I don't know if I said anything substantial at all. However, I don't know, I hope you enjoyed it a little bit. And if you didn't, let me know and I'll never make this again. But if you did like it, give me a movie to watch or give me a topic to talk about. And maybe I will do this again after all. And since, COVID lockdown is no longer a thing, I can go around with this mic holder type of thing that I got recently and go and interview people and make other skits as well. Because while I was away in the Philippines, I thought of a whole bunch of things that I could do. So that's exciting. Anyways, be creative. Be creative. That's the message for today. Be creative. So if you are a creative person, then you gotta create. Put yourself out there into the world.